Hey guys, I'm finally back to do another. Actually, this video is not going to be a crock pot freezer meal. This is going to be both crock pot and just regular freezer meals. So I actually had a list of meals that I'm going to make. I've already started doing some of the cooking of the beef for it, for the ground beef anyway. But I have a list of what I expect to be prepping. I'm going to be doing regular chili, beef chili, chicken chili. I'm going to prep some taco meat that I'll freeze for days I want to have. Tacos, nachos, whatever. We're going to make lasagna, ziti, beef stroganoff, prepare some beef for quesadillas and some chicken for quesadillas and chicken and noodles. So I have already prepped, like I said, the ground beef. I have cooked, and this bowl is 7 pounds of ground beef. And I'm going to use this beef for chili and the pasta dishes. And then I have ground beef on the stove, 2 pounds of ground beef on the stove that I've cooked already and seasoned with taco seasoning that I will be putting into freezer bags and freezing them for other days. The ziti and the lasagna I'm going to be putting in these dishes here. I bought these pans at my Kroger store, and these pan size would be enough for my family for one night's dinner. So each one has 2, so I'll do 2 lasagnas and 2 zitis. All right, so I am going to get some of these cans open and ready to go, and then I'll be back for us to do the prep for, we'll start with the chili since that's the easiest. Alrighty, I'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, I'm back. This is the trick I told you guys the last time I do with the bags. I just flip them over. That keeps them from spilling over once you start putting everything in it. And then I just sit it inside of a bag. And it keeps the top part of your bag clean. So when you get ready to zip them up and put them into the freezer. So I'm just gonna scoop out probably about 3 cups or so of the meat, probably 4. I'm not measuring really anything. I know I can eyeball it and see about how much we need, because once everything gets in there it becomes a lot, and that's probably enough. That was just 3 cupfuls of the ground beef, and I'm going to be doing the chili, and I just do it the way that I make my chili. There's no recipe that I'm following, and I'm going to use mild McCormick's chili seasoning. I prefer McCormick's. Some people aren't that, picky about the brand. I am. So I'm going to throw a packet of that in there, a can of tomato sauce, and I'm going to throw a can of tomato paste in there. I like tomato paste in mine because it helps thicken it. Helps your chili to be a little thicker. So I always add it. What I'm not going to add to any of these, which you won't see, I did season my meat. I didn't really season it a lot, but I did put salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder in it as I cooked it. So got all that out, and then let me grab a paper towel. I got tomato sauce and tomato paste all on my fingers. I'm going to do like half a can of diced tomatoes because I like them in mine, and my husband and the kids aren't like all that excited about having it in it. I like it. So I'll put half of the can in each one because I'm doing 2 of them. And then I'm putting black beans in my chili. I don't care for kidney beans, so I'm going to use black beans. I'm going to rinse them off a little bit, because I meant to do that when I opened them, and yeah. And I'm not going to put a lot in them because me and my oldest like beans. My husband and the little one could care less. They pick them out. My husband will eat them, but he doesn't really like them. So I'm only going to put half a can. But when I make my chicken chili, which is one that me and my oldest daughter love and my husband doesn't really care for at all, I put lots of beans in it. So that's all I'm going to put in there. I'm going to zip it. And then I'm just going to kind of try to mix everything around in there. And you see what I do, because I did have somebody on one of my videos say that she would have liked to see how I get all the air out of the bag. So I'm going to make a little space and try to turn the camera down so you guys could see what I do. Crap, I got my phone in the way. What kind of stuff in the way? It's just a lot of cans over here. I don't have the biggest kitchen with a lot of room. So I'm going to turn the camera down so you can see, hopefully. And basically, I lay it out, and I'm going to open it just enough to let the air out, and then I just kind of flatten it out. And see, all the air just came out, and then I just close it back up. And there you go. And when you put it in the freezer, I think some of you are probably new and probably have not seen my other video, but I will take, like, I took a shoe box the last time, but I have these, and I'm going to use these because I have a couple of them. And then I'll just lay it flat in here, and so it freezes flat and it doesn't take up a lot of room. And I'll just keep stacking them up on top of each other and there. So let me put this back up. Hopefully it's back on me. I'm not the best at the whole camera thing, but we'll work it out. We'll work it out. Anyway, so we're just gonna do the same thing we did with the first one. And the only thing I will probably add when I throw it in the crock pot, because that one is a crock pot meal, is I'll probably put some onion in there. And I keep it real big. I just take an onion and kind of slice them real big so I can take them out, because I don't like onion in I don't like the texture, but my husband likes onion. So I'll probably put that in there, and I may season it some more. It just depends. And I usually put about 2 teaspoons of sugar in mine, and that's just to cut the acidity of the tomatoes, the tomato sauce and stuff. So let's do this one. And we're just going to put in 3 scoops of the meat, and then the rest of the meat I'm going to use for my my pasta. Got some tomato sauce. We got, that's the other tomato sauce. We got the beans, the rest of the beans. Tomato paste. And try to get as much of it as I can out. Tomato paste is just so thick it sticks to the can. I got it out. All right, it just keeps getting in my nails. So wipe off my spoon, my hands, and put in the rest of this tomatoes. And then we're just gonna stick a pack of the chili seasoning in there. And this is just original, so I didn't get them all seasoned to a certain amount, because I add red pepper flakes to my actual bowl. I like heat, and my husband and kids, well, my oldest will, but my baby girl, she doesn't like anything spicy, and my husband has to be in the mood. So we fix them up the way we like it the day we eat it. They may put cheese on it. They may put sour cream on top, different stuff. So we got that one all good and mixed up. It ain't gotta be perfect, because guess what? It's gonna get froze, and then it's going into a crock pot. And I usually let mine cook about 6 to 8 hours. I don't really time it, honestly. My crock pot has a timer on it, but I have one that doesn't as well. But I don't care how long it cooks, it's not gonna burn. I mean, I guess you could probably burn chili. I've never done it. And I'll let stuff cook in the, chili go in the crock pot all day. Just keep it on low, and it should be fine. So I usually will put something like this on in the morning and just let it cook all day. To me, chili is better the longer it cooks. And it's even better the next day. So I got some water boiling on the stove. And I'm gonna go ahead and add some penne noodles into it. That's gonna be for my get some of this trash up. Have a lot of bags from when I went to the store, because I had to go get some of the meat. And just FYI, like, if anybody's wondering, most of the stuff I had, so I did not have to shop for a lot of this stuff, but I did have to go buy the seasoning packets because I was out. So I was down to one taco and one taco and one chili seasoning. So I did buy more of those. But I had the beans, I had the tomatoes, the tomato sauces. I coupon for all this stuff. So mostly all I had to do is get some meat, and I spent $47 and some change on it because I was able to get some that was marked down. So now that I got the meat out that I'm doing chili with, all I'm gonna do is leave the rest of it in this big bowl and add my sauce. So I'm gonna do, I have Parmesan Romano. Stir my noodles real quick just so they don't stick together while they're boiling. All right, so of course these jars are going to try to make me look weak while I'm doing a video. Any other time they open right up. All right, and then I have mushroom and green pepper. See, that one opened up better. And I have another jar that I'm probably going to use all three of them, because I do make it I don't want it too saucy, but I want to make sure that when I bake whatever I'm making, it doesn't dry out. It wasn't enough sauce. And this one is 6 cheese. Ooh, this one is hard too. Lord. And I have a feeling that this is going to be more sauce than I need for what I'm making. So what I'll do, if I have extra meat sauce left over, I will just freeze it just like that. I'll put it in a freezer bag and I'll just freeze it that way. I'm not gonna try to figure out another dish to make or anything, because there's always a need for some meat sauce If you just want to make the pasta, you already have the sauce made up. And it's not too saucy at all. It probably, honestly, could use more, but I'm not gonna add more. But yeah, it didn't make it too saucy. I hope you guys can see me okay, because it seemed like the lighting is kind of darker over here. Oh, maybe that'll help. Turned on another light. But yeah, so now I just have to wait for my noodles to get done, and then we'll build up the ziti. So I will be back in just a sec. Okay guys, I'm back again, and my noodles are ready. And so what I do is I take a jar of Alfredo sauce to put on the noodles. Yes, honey.
Hi.
Okay. And just a disclaimer, you may see a child in the video because I'm a mom, and so I don't get like hours of free time to just do this kind of stuff. So I do it amongst my living. So she's usually preoccupied with something else, but she may pop in just being nosy because she'll hear me talking. But anyway, I'll put a jar of Alfredo sauce, and just so you know, I did not cook these all the way done, so they're definitely al dente, because you're going to bake them later. You don't want them to get, you know, all nasty and overdone. So I mix that in there with that. This is how I do my my ziti. So I'm going to add some Italian seasoning to my meat mixture. I started to do it off camera, but I was like, they may want to, you know, see what all I add to it, because I do add stuff to it. So I'm going to add Italian seasoning. That was probably about a tablespoon. And then, because I'm doing at least 4 dishes out of that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll add 6, and that's a teaspoon of sugar. That's sugar. And I just do that. I do that with anything I do with like a tomatoey base, because it helps cut the acidity of the tomatoes. It doesn't make it sweet. That's why I measure how much I put in there, because if I just eyeball sugar, sometimes it does taste a little sweet to me, and I don't like that. So trust me, it's not going to make your spaghetti or your whatever pasta sweet. So I'm just going to mix that in. So I've already rinsed out my little pan that I got. These are actually really nice sturdy pans. I paid a nice little amount for them too. And then I'm going to scoop some of my meat out. I want enough to cover the bottom of the pan completely. So I'm going to spread it out. All over to cover the pan. At the bottom, like that. Then, one second. Okay. Then we're going to, which I did not pull out, we're going to add some cheese. And we're not going to add a lot of cheese to the prep, because, well, I'm going to add enough in the middle, but I'm not going to add any on top, because I'm going to add the top when I actually bake it. So I may be putting like a little more than 1/4 cup in there. That's not a lot of cheese. Then I'm going to take some of my mixture of my noodles and Alfredo sauce, and I'm going to put that in the middle. You're just going to spread the noodles out. This is actually one of my husband's favorite dishes that I do. And this was, I just did one, which you saw, one package of the noodles, and it made enough for both dishes. So I'll set that over there. I thought I was gonna need more, so I ran down to my little stockpile to get some more, and then I'm like, nope, it looks like it's plenty. See, I covered it. So then I'm going to cover, actually before I do that, I'm going to add more cheese over that. I'm going to have to go and grab more cheese for the other one. Anyway, because that one was already open. It didn't have a lot of cheese in it. And then we'll add the top layer of meat to that. So basically it's just meat, and then the noodles, and then more meat. And that's exactly how I'm going to freeze it. And then when I take it out, when I'm ready to make it, I'll probably sit it overnight in the fridge. And then when I get home that next day, stick it in the oven to bake it. And put the cheese, put a little bit of cheese over top of it.
Picture.
Okay, baby. Yeah. So, okay, baby, put it in the trash. Mommy's trying to do her video. Thank you. Told you. And so, there you go. And that's how I'm going to freeze it. So, I've never done this before. So, I'm worried about how I'm going to freeze it, because these pans came with these nice fancy tops. I'm not using those, not right now anyway. So I'm going to use some of this Press and Seal flat wrap, and then I'm going to put aluminum foil over that and hope that it keeps it nice and fresh for when I'm ready to make it. Because the Press and Seal is supposed to, like, you know, seal in all that good stuff. So then I'm going to add some foil. And what I did not show you guys, I did, because I already took the chilies down to my basement, to my freezer. I write on it what it is, because you will be surprised when stuff freezes how much they look alike, especially when you're talking about chili and then having taco meat and some spaghetti, some meat sauce for spaghetti. They all kind of start to look alike. So I take my marker and I just write on top of it. Of course it's not going to be right where I can find it. I just threw it back in there. Anyway, take my Sharpie and write on here ZD and the date that I made it, so that I know how long it's been in there. I don't really usually put any other, I don't put cooking instructions and all that, because I know how I want to cook it. So we got one of those down, and I will go ahead and put the other one together, and I'll be back. Alright guys, I am back. I am sorry, I actually just thought about something I forgot to do. But anyway, I boiled my noodles and then I let them cool so that they will be easier to work with making the lasagna. So What I forgot to do is make my little mixture with, I use ricotta cheese. I hate ricotta. I mean, I love ricotta, but I hate that they like pretty much make the packaging like Fort Knox. Like, seriously. How are you supposed to put in the dang on ricotta cheese? But I guess you just can be assured that it's fresh, because it's literally heck to get in it. So I'm gonna use, I don't know, I'm not even using half, and this is gonna be for both. I'm probably using way too much, but because I forgot and I'm rushing to put it together, because I don't want this video to be like ridiculously long with me just putting stuff together. And this is some cottage cheese. I don't usually use cottage cheese. I usually use sour cream and ricotta. I use the sour cream to kind of loosen it up, but I know a lot of people use cottage cheese in their lasagna. You really could just use whatever you like. I don't have anything against cottage cheese. I just usually don't use it. I can't eat it by itself. I don't like the texture, but if it's in something, I can usually stomach it. So I'm just gonna mix this together, and this is gonna be like a spread I use in between layers of my lasagna. And if you don't know what that was, I just put in there, that was Italian seasoning that I put in there. Alrighty, that's probably mixed in good enough. It don't have to be all perfect because it's going in between the layers. Alright, now we're off to the last of the dishes with the meat sauce, and I thought I was gonna have leftover meat sauce, and I don't know, I probably won't. So we're gonna do a layer of meat at the bottom. I hope I have enough to do 2 lasagnas. I don't know now. It looks like it might be just enough to do 1. I might just do 1, and then I'll have I will have probably some leftover meat sauce. This was, as you know, I didn't measure it as I did my dishes, but in all, in that bowl was 7 pounds of ground beef. So I put a layer of ground beef at the bottom, and then I'm going to take my lasagna noodles, and they're all cooled off. I did not cook these all the way either. I cooked them soft enough to be able to make them do what I want them to do in the pan, pretty much to work with them. So we're gonna put a layer of the noodle into the bottom, which is 3 noodles. And then we're gonna put my mixture in between there. I'm just spreading it over the noodles. Alright. And then I'm going to put just a little bit more. It wasn't quite enough. Okay. So I put a layer in between there, and then I'm going to put some cheese, mozzarella cheese on there. And honestly, guys, this is pretty much how I layer it anytime I make it, but I do it differently. Like sometimes I'll do just like I'm about to do now. It's just going to be pretty much noodles in the middle, And then sometimes if I'm doing a bigger pan of it, I'll do 2 sets of layers of noodles. So I'll do this like I'm doing now. I did the layer at the bottom of meat, and then I did the noodle, and then the cheese mixture, and then some cheese, and then noodle. And then normally if I had a bigger pan, I would do meat again, do that same thing again, a layer up. But since I don't, this is going to be enough. So now I'm just going to put a layer of meat over top of it. I don't know, I think I can stretch it for one more and do 2. We're going to see after I get done with this one, because no, maybe not.
Are you using the camera?
Yes, baby. I don't want to skimp on it, because you know you want lasagna to taste real good. So
I think so.
I am going to go ahead and just meat it up. My husband is a carnivore, so he's all about the meat, and that's good. And this will just be some extra that I can freeze and use for something else. So there we go. And I'm not going to put any cheese on top, just like I did the other ones. Let me wash my hands. And then, because I'll do that when I bake it. When I bake it, I'll put a layer of cheese over top to cover the meat. But for now, I'm just going to do it like that. I'm going to throw some of this wrap over top. And seal it down. Yep. And then we're going to put some aluminum foil on top of that. And then this one is ready to go. I honestly thought I was going to have way too much meat, but that's fine. I've already, just from what was in that bowl, I've already gotten, what, 5 meals, really 6, because I'll use that to make like spaghetti. So 6 possible meals out of that 7 pounds of ground beef. All right, so we're just gonna take our bowl in a bag and put the rest of the meat sauce in there. And then I'll put that cheese mixture in a container and just keep it. And I'll probably try to make a dish that I can use it with so it doesn't go to waste. All right. And put a whole lot in, I mean, didn't leave a whole lot left, but it's a little bit in there. And I have another bag already in the freezer that has just a little bit of meat mixture. So the 2 of those together will make a meal. All right. So we'll put that one. See, I already had one up there. Meat sauce, I put that up there August 23rd. I'll stick this one up there with it. So, I tell you guys, it doesn't go to waste, and it just makes it so much more convenient to have it all there in one thing. So, let me try to get some organization over here, clean up some of this mess. So I can do the next thing. And I realized as I was getting these noodles ready for this lasagna that I do not have what I need for, well, not what I need, but one of the things I need for the beef stroganoff. So, I'm going to move on to this and try to get this steak cut up the way I need it. To put it in bags for fajitas. Sorry guys. Wasn't as organized as I probably should have been. But hey, this is real life. Real life. I am not a chef, I just like to cook. And this is real life. This is how it really happens in my kitchen. Because even if I didn't have this camera on, this is what I'd be doing for my prep. Aside from talking to myself. Anyway, we are going to do this skirt steak, hopefully. Hands are slippery because they're wet. Cutting board. Alright. Basically, I'm just going to cut it in half. Because my cutting board is not all that huge and it was kind of hanging off. So, we're just going to cut strips. And then all the strips are just going to go into a freezer bag with some onions and peppers. Alright. And it's not as frozen as I wanted it to be because I guess sitting in the fridge it has loosened up, which sucks because it makes it harder to slice. That was the whole purpose of me freezing it a little, and I thought the fridge would have kept it a little more solid because it's not been in there that long, doesn't seem. Alright, so we're just going to do the best we can. Slice it up. And then I have a bag of frozen onions and peppers that I bought at the store because I don't feel like slicing up onions and peppers. And the reason I like the skirt steak and the flank steak is because of the fat in it, and it makes the steak a little tender, keeps it tender when you saute them up to make your fajitas and whatnot, instead of it coming out all chewy and kind of tough. So I can't remember how I got hooked on flank, but I usually go to my store on Saturdays. They usually do markdowns of the meats that they need to get sold by a certain date. So I always typically pick up one or two because they always get marked down. And I get them for like $8, $9 for a really, really big flank steak. Like one steak is 2 meals for us. I'll cut it in half, and it's enough for 2 meals for us because it's that big. So I got 1/2 cut up, and it's probably going to be enough for 2 meals, even though this isn't as big as my flank steaks usually are, but it's still slicing up to be quite a bit because my little one does not like steak. So when I do fajitas, for the rest of the family, I do usually like regular tacos for her. That's why I keep taco meat frozen in the fridge. So that's how much it made, cut up. Let me wash my hands. Alright, so now we're just going to take our bowl and a freezer bag, flip it over, put my cutting board, put all that in there. And then see, I found these 89 cents. And it's Bird's Eye. And on a good week, I would have had a coupon for it. But I didn't that week for 89 cents for a bag. I've already cut up onions and peppers. I'll take it. So actually, I'm not going to actually put it in there with the meat. I was, but I usually cook my meat first and then put my veggies in there when I make fajitas, because I don't like my veggies to get too overcooked, too soft. So I'm going to use one of these snack bags I have and just throw in my veggies. And then I'll throw the snack bag into the bag with the meat. So they'll still be together in the same freezer bag. So that's about a cup of veggies, onions, peppers, red, green, yellow. And then we got the steak, and I'll put that in there with it. And honestly, I actually usually do cut up my flank steak when I buy them. I don't usually put the onions and peppers in there. Like, that's just a little extra step I'm taking. I usually just cut up the meat so it'll be already cut up and I don't have to worry about that when I'm ready to cook it. But hey, it don't hurt to have the onions and peppers in there already too. And I'll do like I said, some fajitas, or usually I'll do steak quesadillas because they like quesadillas better. So I usually do some steak quesadillas. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this one up. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put it in a bag with some peppers and onions, clean up some of this mess, and then we'll start on video number 2, because I'm going to do a 2-part on this, because it's just so many dishes that I'm doing that it's just, I don't want the video to just be crazy long. So I will clean up some, get ready for the chicken dishes, and then I'll be back. Alrighty, see ya.